Okay, this is the second game for the Jerad versus Brian Rude match. Brian is around 1750 and Jared's 1950. Both from Springfield Chess Club. And looks like Brian has white. And so I'm going to go through the moves. They're still playing, but we'll just catch up. It looks this is actually a French in this situation, and Jerad avoids any French theory by playing b6, which I think is a great way to play against Brian, because Brian's kind of a known opening expert. And here you can see a double fianchetto setup for Jerad, which is pretty interesting and positional way to play. You can get some King's Indian setup, although this is a this opening here for black is known as the hippopotamus. So it's all the rage at the local elementary school. Jared's almost a candidate master playing this. That's nice. So yeah, and here you can see this is actually the hippopotamus setup. You fianchetto both your bishops and put your knights on e7 and d7. Very good. I'm not a big fan of this move, queen to c2, because it wastes time. Something like routing the knight to rook to a knight to a3, knight to c2 is probably called for here. Definitely a push like Jerad is doing here by playing g5. You definitely want to strike in the center. So a push on the wing is normally best met in the center. So, not sure. This is probably the beginning of trouble for Brian. Wasting time rerouting a knight like this. Looks like he's going knight to f1, and what you're going to see here is a real interesting thing in chess. You're going to see Jerad pushing on the king side, and that knight is probably going to g6 and then coming to f4. So I think that plan needs to be prevented at all costs. So let's see what happens. Knight to f1. Here comes the knight headed to the f4 square. I don't like this, because what you'll see happen here is Jared's going to play c6, and the bishop will go back to d3. So the question is it worth the tempo to make black play c6? And what that really does is give black's queen some more space to maneuver, possibly allowing black to castle queenside. Yep, knight comes to f4. Definitely think something like g6 right now. Knight to h3, king to h1, allowing the white bishop to come to g2 would be the way to play. Because even though the black bishop is on the b7 to h1 diagonal, and putting a king on h1 sounds terrible, it allows moves like f4 for white in the future, in which case you just have an absolutely huge center. So let me see if I can show you what the variation looks like. if you can see, what would happen there would be G3, check, F1, something like this, and you, you can play F4 here, and it gives you some idea of the counterpoint. My wife calling. Let's see what she wants. Hi, Honors.
Hi. Well, I waited in line to take so they could give my order. Then
Yeah.
I had to go to the corner and wait. And then it's 10 minutes later, so I pulled around the other corner, and she comes out running out with the food. And then to top it off, she didn't have my tacos in there, and she said it's gone chaos in there because their grill caught on fire. And I'm like, okay, well, I'll wait for the tacos.
Oh, their grill caught on fire.
Something, yeah, it was chaotic.
Oh, okay. All right.
So I
Well.
have to wait for my tacos.
Oh, you get some for me?
What, tacos?
Yeah.
No! I'm lucky to even get my tacos.
What about Chihuahuas? They like tacos.
Right.
All right. Well, love you.
Bye.
Bye. Oh, well, sorry for that. I'm sure she got tacos for me. But all right, back to the game. All right. So back to our position in the game. We were arguing about this knight coming up. There's a few moves on the board, and hold on. There we go. Castle. Let's just look at this. If I were playing this, I would definitely castle queenside and storm the white king. Jerad plays a more positional game and less attacking, but still, I think this is okay. And here we have a minority attack in a way. Basically, white is trying to create some weaknesses here on the H file. So what you do with a minority attack is you attack with your pawns in a way that can create weaknesses so that you can attack them. Now that is the idea behind a minority attack. A pretty good move here. So calculating A takes B, A takes B, knight to B4. That is a great way to create a strong position or outpost for your knight. See, if you just play knight to B4 here, he plays A5, and knight has to move away. So what you do is take the pawn on B5 and create yourself an outpost. Does he do it? Let's see. Yep. Knight. Yes. Way to go, Brian. That's a strong move. And I think with that, and the fact that Jerad castled kingside and didn't attack Brian, it's given Brian some life in this game. And now, very nice. Yeah. Now, is there a tactic here that was missed? Possibly. Let's look at this. Bishop takes d5 for black in this position. Knight takes b5. Queen takes a7. That wins a pawn for black. So the question is bishop takes d5 a good move here? Obviously, Jerad didn't think so, but I don't think that this is a good move. Why give away your strong knight for... I'm not sure anything is worth that. Even if you play g6 here, there's an argument to be made to allow just sack the knight so that you can keep a knight there. It's the strongest piece on the board, so giving it away, I'm not sure. I'd like to see a computer analysis. I'll tell you what, at the end of the game we'll come back to this and we'll look at this, but I'm thinking that simply here, I'll put it on the board, something like this could so even here, and black is up a pawn. I guess this pawn falls here, but yeah, this... Yeah, it looks like that may have been the reason why he didn't play it. So let's go to the current position and look here. So it looks like Jerad is up a ton of time. Just counting material. Jared's up in exchange, and it kind of looks like there's some forcing moves on the board, like knight to f5 check, king to g5. Knight to d4 is an interesting way to play. The g5 squares here is critical because the king can escape. If you could cut that off, you could almost checkmate that king that's on Jared's king that's on h4. There's a little bit of danger here of the white king getting checked away from that knight. So almost in every situation, black's next move is king to g5. Really, you just need to find something to play. I like the idea of moving the knight away. I think knight to e2 there was a stronger way to play. Now I think knight to d4 is forced. Yeah. And there's not a lot of squares left for the bishop, so if black were to play rook to g3, you would have bishop to f8. That would be forced. So forcing lines like that you have to calculate. So let's calculate them together. Rook to g6, bishop to f8, and he does some. Oh my God, did he just... Oh, look at this. Bishop to f8 loses the game to rook to f7 forking, and if you go bishop to if you go bishop to h8, bishop to h8, then you've got rook to h7. Oh, it's the only practicable choice. You need to play just bishop to h8. This doesn't help at all because he goes king to g6, making the bishop's life even worse. I think knight to f3 would have been stronger because that opens the square on d4 for the bishop, and that's a good square for the bishop. And it comes with tempo, right? So you're opening up. Oh, I love it. I love it. Brian finds the resource of the fork, and it doesn't work. Game over. You'll see resign here. I think if he had played knight to f3, you had bishop takes f3, so that didn't work either. Yeah, game over. He'll resign here. That's yeah. Well, let's pull that position up and just look at it and see if we can find something better. Beautiful way to play. This is the move I suggested, and bishop takes. I don't know. Pawn takes. Yeah, that is all she wrote. So that doesn't work. You obviously can't play this because of check. And bishop to h8. Rook turns here, and king here. Now that bishop is out of squares. This is the whole point. I'll put it on the board. This. And is there... I'm not sure how to save the white bishop here. Yeah. So let's go back to the game. I think it must be over. And they're still playing on. Game is practically over. Let's go back and look at that one situation earlier in the game. It was right here where I was talking about this move, and instead he took here. One more time, looking at this variation. Black has won a pawn. Taking here, this is, remember, this is the weak square. You definitely want to take this way. White will take here, and this is an interesting end game to play after this. Okay, so back to the game. They're still playing on. Yeah, white resigned. In this position, it's game over. Well, that's interesting. It's actually one game each. And so I'll just end the commentary here. I think my tacos have arrived. So we'll see. Hopefully they play another. It would be really fun to comment on it.